Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. This is the second part of the history of Koonarta. This video will also feature me speaking in Creole Savanjin. In 1505, Diogo Fernandes Pereira returned to Portugal after discovering Socotra to find a way to go to India by going south of Madagascar. On his way, he discovered 3 islands and named them Ilha Santa Polónia, Ilha do Cirne, Ilha Milado, and Ilha de Diogo Fernandes. The eastern part of Ilha Milado was actually Austronesian and Noongar at the time, but Diogo Fernandes Pereira was advised not to settle in the east. Como se Portugal aproveitasse uma ilha valiosa no Oceano Índico perto da Índia. After hearing about a big island whose western peninsula was unclaimed and uninhabited, Vittorio Amadeo I of Savoy sent 2 ships from Nisa to discover the island in 1630. After constructing Fort Menton, 1 ship came back to Nisa claiming the others had made a fort and how they stayed there. They made the leader of Fort Menton, Nicola Borrigo. 1 month later, 2 more ships were sent to Fort Menton. The Savoyard fort was now trading with the Koonartans. Carlo Emanuele II of Savoy had offered to bring settlers from anywhere in Europe to settle in Fort Menton. The majority of the settlers came from these areas, however a third came specifically from between the Var and the Nervia rivers. In under 15 years, over 2,000 people emigrated to Fort Menton. Nicola Borrigo decided to expand Fort Menton into a town. It was named Delezione, as the deletion of the fort, whose name later evolved into Delezona. The settlers mixed their language and needed a name to name their new colony. Corina Guarbe suggested a portmanteau of savant, because jungles were new to them and they only knew what a savanna was, and Europe, as Savannah Europe, but then added a soft G as Savannah Europe. Infatti, un terce d'occitan, un terzo d'italiano, avec presque un quart français, avec una pizca d'espagnol et portuguese. Also, there was a tiny bit of Jewish Provençals and Bryssonics. In 1647, Delezione got too crowded, so they made new towns, Sambora, named after Diego Sambora, and Vievola, named after Antonio Vievola. In 1649, Lantosca was founded. In 1668, France took control of Southern Europe from Savoy. The towns of Lantosca, Vievola, Sambora, and Delezione were given Gallicized names, Lantosca, Vievola, Sambora, and Delezone. From 1672 to 1704, the French brought thousands of slaves, primarily Bantu from coastal East Africa and Malagasy, to work in sugar plantations in Southern Europe. In 1685, Louis XIV passed Code Noir, a creed defining the punishments of slaves and to let free slaves have the same rights as white people. It also ordered the expulsion of all Jews from France and its colonies, which includes Southern Europe. The Southern Europeans were like, "Per que voi que se ne vadano, vivano qui adesso con noi." The French were like, "Bien, tous les Juifs of France et nos colonies doivent aller au Southern Europe ou aller ailleurs." The Southern Europeans were protesting at the parliament to remind the French that "Elles sont droits também." In November 1704, the Southern Europeans began taking slaves into hidden refuges down the Mauritian River. They even went to Ile-de-France and Ile-Bourbon to take slaves secretly. Part of Southern Europe rebelled and separated themselves from France as the Montagnes Niamercio, where slavery was non-existent and they had families with the Southern Europeans, created a Creole language called Creole Savanjin. In 1717, Montagnes Niamercio was officially renamed with a Creole name, Montagnes Niamercio. Okay, that was just a spelling change, but you know. Rio Negro was the main town in Montagnes Niamercio. In 1735, Montagnes Niamercio was dissolved and slavery was officially abolished in the French Southern Europe. The Creoles began settling the areas directly north of Delezone and Rio Negro, and then to the area to the west of Southern Europe. In 1735, the French colony was renamed Savange, due to the population being primarily mixed and not European. In 1740, the north of Savange was settled by Creoles and French, and Saplet was founded. Thank you so much for watching, and I really hope you enjoyed this long form of video. Au revoir, adios, ciao viva!